Rob Pelinka. This trade better work out. I'm telling you right now, losing Stanley Johnson in this trade is a massive mistake. Now, I love the acquisition of getting Patrick Beverly. I think everybody knew that that's where he wanted to go and that this trade was inevitably happening. But by himself and losing THT and Stanley Johnson, this could be trouble for the Lakers. But what does this also mean for Russell Westbrook? Because now you've got 4 point guards with Kendrick Nunn, Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverly, and Lonnie Walker. That means they may have a move coming for Russell Westbrook. In fact, I found some news that's going to talk about this and what they could possibly do now that they've got Patrick Beverly. But we're going to discuss losing Stanley Johnson, gaining Patrick Beverly, and everything else. I am your NBA white guy. I talk all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. And if you like that kind of content, then make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the bell so you're notified every time I do a new video. Now, the news broke last night from, well, just about everybody, but you know the Woj man was on it. He said the Los Angeles Lakers are in advanced talks on a trade to acquire Utah Jazz, Pat Bev, Talen Horton-Tucker, and Stanley Johnson, sources tell. This has been reported by just about everybody already, and it sounds like they're finalizing everything this morning. Could there be some more news that come out with this? But we need to talk about this initial trade. Again, I like to talk from a hooper's perspective, not just straight statistics and contracts. And I do know, just by reading into this a little bit more, the main reason that they had to do Talen Horton-Tucker and somebody was because there was like this $75,000 contract difference. Losing Stanley, man, this is the one thing about the Lakers that that drives me nuts, is that they're kind of this we'll do anything for a player kind of organization. At least it looks like that from the outside looking in. To get rid of Horton-Tucker, I'm cool with it. Like, I think the dude's going to go straight up ball out. A place like Utah, especially if they get rid of Donovan and he is just the man, Horton-Tucker can do his thing. I think he's going to be a monster. But in the fit of, the organization with LeBron, it's just not right. It's not the right fit right now. And I think go let that young dude be who he's going to be and make his money. I love the move of Horton-Tucker, being moved off. But Stanley Johnson's somebody that I have talked about in just about every video that I've shot. These are guys that you just cannot find. You can't make these dudes up. And he is a 6'7", 6'8", 250-pound beast. The dude last season, every time I watched him, I loved what I saw out of him. You're never going to get this like 25-point barrage, but you don't need that. He's kind of like a younger, more athletic Draymond Green without the mouth, right? But now you've got Pat Bev coming in. He can be that mouth, but Stanley was the cleanup dude. I'm telling you, every championship team has to have a guy like this. In fact, he was actually the opposite of Draymond in the fact of like the whole mouth and stuff, but the way that he played, a 6'8", he could defend just about everybody. He had his hand on every ball. He was getting tons of rebounds. He did a lot of just like dirty work, the boxing out, getting second chance rebounds. Second chance rebounds can completely flip the outcome of a basketball game. And so, a guy that was always moving in an offense that was stagnant with everybody standing around, at least he was moving. And I loved having him on the team. Plus, he was only like $2.5 million. I think, this year they would have had to pay him, a little over $1 million. So he was cheap, young. We had him for 2 years. I'm not a huge fan of this. I need you to comment down below, though. With Talen Horton-Tucker, Stanley Johnson gone, you bring Pat Bev in. What do the Lakers need now? You just lost your wing defenders. So now we have 4 point guards. That means I think that Pelinka, the Lakers, they're on to something with Westbrook. They're going to move off of him. You cannot go in there having these 4 guards. Obviously, you have Lonnie Walker, Kendrick Nunn. You don't want Russell Westbrook and Pat Bev. That means Pat Bev's going to be that secondary role, which, again, I don't think is a bad idea. But the guy who is the most ascending talent out of the group is Kendrick Nunn. I've done a couple of other videos on Kendrick Nunn, too. I remember watching him in 2020, especially in that late run in the bubble for Miami. The dude was a walking bucket. I, again, think he's one of the most ascending talents, and when you hear his name in all of the trade talks, that's because everybody knows it. Now, I remember watching him 2 years ago, the way that he was able to dribble, penetrate. He's left-handed, so that's another thing for defenders to get used to, is somebody, with the opposite hand there, but he could catch and shoot. As soon as he was dribbling across the court, I remember Caruso was having to come out 6-8 feet to, pick him up. Not like he was going to shoot from that far, but you knew that he could come up, get close to that 3-point line and let it fly. And he had a game with 30 points against the Lakers. So I think that Nunn is somebody that, I'm super pumped about this year. I think it's a hidden gem that's going to help, the Lakers be contenders, but now losing basically all of your defense on the wing. We got Pat Bev. And the thing I want to talk about Pat Bev, because I do love getting him, and I really wanted Pat Bev, and it's not just because he's this nuisance. What that nuisance does is it wears out the star defender, both mentally and physically. He's picking you up full 94 feet. You go and play in the West against a guy like Chris Paul, or you play against, obviously, Steph Curry. This is a player that can wear these people down, and it just drives him nuts. And if you think about it in a 1-game series, it's not as big of a difference as it is a 7-game series. That's where it is massive to have a guy like Pat Bev, and you see him really excel during those playoff times. A lot of that is because the guy he's guarding is just tired. They're having to run and work a lot more. Pat Bev is just, pestering him. I love the move getting Pat Bev over. I never in a million years thought it was just going to be a straight up, player for player swap. I thought there was going to be 3-4 other players. So I don't know, is there anything else that they're going to do with the Jazz, and why wouldn't they have, bundled it all up? But maybe this moves the needle back over to the Pacers, but I thought the Pacers would have wanted the young talent in THT. Now this is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. There's no way we start the season with this current roster of just adding, Pat Bev and losing Stanley Johnson. Oh, that one hurts. And, Talen Horton-Tucker. So, again, I need you guys to comment down below. What do you feel like the Lakers have got to do now? And what kind of trades are you hearing and seeing now that we've lost Horton-Tucker? We still have the 2 draft picks. Getting off of Westbrook, this one's going to be tough with just 2 draft picks and no capital. Maybe we got to get rid of Kendrick Nunn, but I hate that move too. 2 most ascending talents was Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson, and obviously Kendrick Nunn being a 3rd, and 2 of those are already gone. So we're getting old again, and we also are losing those young burst players that can give us a lot of extra minutes and keep those minutes off of AD and LeBron. So we'll see how this unfolds. I love the addition of Pat Bev, especially later on in the season, to wear those point guard, that star player out. But also losing a Stanley Johnson, who was the hustle guy, who was going to get us extra rebounds and work his butt off all season long. We got to get somebody else who can do that now. And again, I am your NBA white guy. I talk all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. And if you're a hooper yourself, again, this is a platform where I've been bringing all of your comments up there to YouTube as well. So make sure you're commenting and you subscribe so you don't ever miss a thing. And until the next video, my homies, we'll catch you later.